Hey guys, welcome to the Château. We have had quite the week, and some good progress has happened, and this is our weekly wrap-up. What have we done?
Yeah, 5 things we'd love to talk about today. It has been a terrific week, and kicking it off is the roofers. Now, it was so exciting to have the roofers come. They gave us a good, solid quote. It's a little spendy to get a roof fixed, but 2 guys, 2 days, plus an $800 lift. And so this morning, we saw this when I woke up at 7 o'clock. Yeah, that's right, a semi-trailer bringing in this massive 80-foot, 24.5-meter lift.
Mm-hmm. It was quite the lift.
Yeah, and so all day, these guys were up there. Now, when they came yesterday, I was impressed from the start because they climb up all the stairs, then they jump up there, and they're all over the roof. They're walking on little corners. They're walking on the edge, all the places I thought it was not safe to walk. But again, they know this far better than me. They're up there. They have these wood ladders that they lie down on the slate so they can get to.
Hook them on something?
Yeah, there's hooks on the roof, and so sometimes they can hook them. If you take a close look at our roof, it's a really complicated roof. There's a lot of different towers. What you may or may not notice is that there's sort of a front ridge, and then there's a back ridge, and there's a valley in the middle. And so they did all the stuff in the valley and all the stuff and kind of in the little nooks and crannies on the first day. Then the second day they came with the lift and went to all the high spots.
Crazy.
What'd you think?
I thought they were a little crazy. They don't even tie themselves off. They just walk around. Now, clearly, they mustn't just think about it, and they just do it.
Well, I think they're brave, I think, is what they are. And they're used to it. They know their limits. They're walking on flat surfaces. They weren't like, a lot of times roofers in the States would be on, they'd be on angles, and you can slip it. But no, these guys were on solid ground. So I thought they were pretty smart about it, and really impressed, and really thankful. We'll have those guys back again.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have more work to be done on the roof, so yes, we will have them back again.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny listening to the comments. Like some people are, a lot of the comments, like folks say, "Oh, why don't you guys just like block up the holes for birds?" And I don't think you understand the scale of this chateau. Like some of these pictures we can show you, with the little guys on this huge roof, kind of give you a sense of the scale of the roof. It's absolutely massive. Like to find every corner, we will never be able to seal it. Like we'll try as hard as we can. We'll put rocks. We'll put wire screens, but there will always be a way for air to get in, and there will always be a way for birds and other small insects to get in.
And I think, I don't know how much everyone's been watching, but the roof is actually made of slate. So it's a stone. It's a piece of stone that's flat. Sometimes you get food served on a little piece of slate in a restaurant. That's exactly what it is, basically a little paver. And they hook them on, or I think these guys nailed them on, because that was sort of old school still, what we've got there. So it's a stone roof, so it's a little different trying to seal up holes, and it's just different than at home.
And also the slate attaches to slats, not to they don't have like plywood across the whole thing. No. So, which has its advantages. It dries off quicker if it gets wet. There's air can get in there. But apparently after 100 years, the slate starts to degenerate a little bit, and that's clearly happened. If you take a look at this shot, you'll see the back of the trailer. They pulled up a trailer, and then what they would do is, as they were going around, they would pick up debris from the gutters and slate, different tiles that have fallen, and they have, by the end of the day, they had half a trailer full of stuff.
That's amazing.
Which really is quite incredible, just sitting on top of the roof. So we're all clean. We're forecast to have a storm, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I want to go up into the attic and see how they did, see if we're down to just a couple leaks. This is also a small thing, but I was really pleased. Previously we had someone had come in and put a TV antenna in, so they put a pole through the roof. And what they just decided to do is they just knocked out some tiles, put the pole through, and then so there's just a big hole in the roof sitting there. And so their solution was to get a bucket and hang the bucket at the bottom of the pail so that the bucket can catch the rain. And so when I went up after day one to see how these guys had done, and I noticed that the bucket was gone, I'm like, oh, the bucket's gone, we're in trouble. And sure enough, they put their own flashing around there. So
really nice.
These guys went above and beyond. They did more than they were asked to do. So really pleased with them.
Yeah.
So good news on the roof. We're real excited. We'll probably have to do that every year. Some of you guys also are saying, hey, you should consider buying one of these nacelles, they call them, or cherry pickers, we call them. It's a great idea. We'd love to get one. I think you can kind of see how big this one is. It looks like a tank. When you watch it driving, it's and I asked the guys if it was big enough, and they said, no.
It was close.
Not quite.
Close.
They could get up to all the peaks
Yeah.
except the big one.
It was close.
The big tallest one.
Although I have to say, compared to other ones that I've seen on TV of people using them, this one did not look like it was going to tip at all. It didn't look remotely unsafe like I did in that thing. That it looked totally reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, it was okay. So the problem was to afford one that
I know.
beefy.
So the semi truck is going to come pick it up on on Monday. So we have it for the weekend. So it's so tempting to try it out, but it's, you know, you don't want to drive it through like a wall or something. So it's probably smart not to get involved until we know what we're doing. So anyways, the roof is great. Hey, you made a find too. You found something cool.
I did. So a little bit ago, I was wandering through the stables and just looking at different things that is sort of left. We don't have a ton of things left in the chateau these days, but out in the stables, I found a really interesting kind of scroll iron piece that I thought would be interesting to hold our sign. We had a sign made for the chateau last year, I guess, already, because we could never have the delivery guys find us. So we figured it's probably time to have something so when you drive down the driveway, you kind of know where you're going. So anyways, I think it's going to work. So I started painting that. It's metal. It was very rusty. And I think it used to hold a light because there's some electrical wires stuck inside, which I'm kind of tempted to see if we can't make it. Wouldn't that be fun if it's a light and anyway? I think
we'll preserve the wiring for sure.
Yeah.
But get that painted up. We'll build a base for it and hang the sign. That's going to be a real nice piece.
And then we've also had, while I've had the primer out for painting iron, there's a lot of benches around the property, and they all are either falling apart or not doing great. So I picked one that isn't in too bad a shape to strip and everything, and we're trying to get it painted up. So at least we can have one on the terrace at the back where we always sit that isn't going to put splinters in you.
Yeah, there's some incredible spots. For views.
So I don't know if you've ever been to the Tuileries Gardens or any of the other gardens in Paris. But next time you go, you should watch and look and see what they've painted the chairs. There's a color of green that seems to be very Parisian, and it's this springy, muted kind of green that all of the chairs are made of, are painted, and they look fantastic. So I figured for our benches, I would choose some form of green that looked good with our stone. I don't know if every bench on the property will be that, but this one was sort of targeted that way. So we'll see how it turns out.
And we've got a couple of benches that are really quite old. Like it's just the metal and then
and
right?
then slats.
Two of them.
Yeah.
We think that they were originally in the rose garden. In fact, do you have pictures?
Yeah, I did that.
See if we can put one up while we're talking.
1960s photo.
Yeah.
That's in black and white. I'm pretty sure they had a bench on each side by the urns.
Yeah.
And I think that these are it. Underneath the house, we have this kind of interesting little. It's like a shed, really, but it's stone. And I found 3 metal braces, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, sure, braces.
And they look just like the ones that are already there. So I think if we can get someone to get us the slats, we will make a second bench.
Yeah, we'll do that. So we have 2 of those, and then I think 3 other benches at least.
I guess
3.
I'll be painting those too.
Yeah. The great thing about this place is there are so many wonderful vantage points. Like if we were walking around the front the other day and we were saying, boy, you just don't ever get this view, but it's so beautiful when you're looking from the front. And so we really need to get one of the benches out there for sure.
We need more little arches and moments to sit and enjoy different spots.
Maybe a fountain eventually.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, fountain.
You
were talking about that.
Yes.
So that's exciting, and that's a nice thing. And you know what? We went to a couple Brocantes, and there was an antique show right here in Beaujais. Leslie got a couple frames and a sconce.
Okay. We've got the mirror. Check it out. You can see the ceiling from the dining room. Looks pretty great, eh? Benny. Okay, so we got the frame. It's got some bits and pieces because right now we can't afford frames that are perfect. So we gotta do a little reconstruction. This whole side's pretty good. And a little weeny tiny thing up there. These are the pieces. Not a ton of pieces, but there are some pieces. So we'll see what we can do with this and a little bit of gold patina paint, and we'll let you know how it goes. You know, I started this and I thought there's no way all those little pieces are even going to remotely fit somewhere in these spots. But you know what? Look, 3 pieces. This piece, that piece, and this piece. 3 little pieces, and look what happened. They fit perfectly. Now, I think there should be a couple more. We'll see if we can figure it out. We found another one. And it fits in absolutely perfectly. I'll just get rid of that. Isn't that incredible? All right, next one. We'll have to get rid of the glue. We found another one. It just snaps in so perfectly, even on the side. All right, reconstruction. So puzzles were never my thing. But I figure when there's 2 pieces left, and there's this spot, and there's that spot, and we did pretty good on that spot with all those 5 pieces. Little tiny thing there, little itty bitty spot there, but it's got to go here, right? So I thought, what if they went together? Just like that. Sometimes it's all about the perspective, and I believe it'll fit in there perfectly. Et voila. Now, obviously, needs a little bit of paint and filler, maybe even the joints. But yeah, some of that gold is rubbed off, although the patina I kind of like. And we'll maybe try to find some kind of putty that I can mimic the inset and make a little extra for some of those spots. Pretty good along there and along here, but there would be good. Till then, it's going to get a little paint job on the spots where we're still missing things, and I think it'll do just fine. Ta-da! So here's the joy. You find something really cheap at a Brocante. I should have showed you before. It was a mess. You wash all the glass. Nice thing about old things, glass cleans up really well. And the brass, you have a little bit of brass cleaner, and voila, as they say.
One of the interesting things about this whole project is, if we were just doing a TV show, or if we were just doing this for ourselves, I think we'd probably go one room at a time, and we'd make a bathroom spectacular and a bedroom spectacular, and then every time you went in, you'd feel awesome about it, and we'd work on it for a few weeks. The problem is, the Château is a means to an end for us, and so the end is having students here for a study abroad, and so a lot of times we have to make decisions, kind of practical decisions, like pragmatic decisions. And so, for example, our next project that we've been working on is the laundry room. And the laundry room's not very exciting. It's in the basement. It was kind of an ugly room.
But the room was chosen because that's where we can have hookup.
Yeah.
That's where there was already stuff existing. So it's, it may not be my laundry room there long term, because there's a great room in the basement that has beautiful light and lovely windows. But right now, that's where it's going to be. So getting things clean and not dirty and cobwebby, which is a lot of what we work with regularly, will be just very nice. So it's just a clean paint job, tile on the floor, and it'll be tidy and clean.
So it was a blank slate. We were able to sand. It had a little bit of drywall, and it had kind of one layer of drywall mud on it. So really not enough, and it wasn't sanded. And so we made the mistake, because we had all these kids coming, and we wanted to get it a little bit good. So we threw on a little bit of paint last year, but really we should have
actually.
Yeah, primer. We should have sanded first, and so we corrected that. We gave the whole thing a good sand.
Yeah.
Filled a little bit. It's it's not going to be our most beautiful room, but it looks okay now. And then we put down extra tile from the kitchen, so it's practically it's going to be now. It's a good functional room. You don't feel gross walking in there anymore.
When you do laundry and things are wet and something falls on the floor and it's clean, you just don't want to feel like you're in a space. So It's practical and pragmatic.
Yeah.
And we'll do other pretty things later.
Right. We went through a ton of tile adhesive because the floor was so uneven. So there's just all kinds of mud there. And honestly, one of the next projects could very well be a couple of the bedrooms in the basement because for a bunch of reasons. We have a lot of students applying, which is fantastic for us. And if we have rooms, we can have staff, which makes it more manageable. So even though they're not real exciting rooms, it will be good to get them functioning and get some space.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's always you walk around, there's so many things. A little project, this is kind of fun. While we were doing the tiling, Leslie discovered, and some of the other people discovered that we had a little visitor in the kitchen.
Well, it actually didn't ever come in the kitchen.
Oh, it never came? Oh.
No, but it was in the hall once or twice.
Yeah, we have a lot of animals in the chateau, but this is the first time we'd seen a mouse, or one of the first times we'd seen a mouse.
Yeah.
And so
I haven't still seen him.
You still haven't seen him? But our daughter saw it, and Danica saw it.
A little dead one, so he might be gone actually.
Yeah.
Right outside the door.
Oh, goodness.
I know.
Goodness.
Sad,
that's the one nice thing about the birds. I think the owls, they take care of small rodents. But we did see these two holes, and so Leslie implored on me to put some grout down there, so we got them all sealed up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting through that.
We don't need to invite them in. Although it was cute, it was kind of like a little arch.
Yeah, it was a perfect little mouse hole.
I was a little tempted to put a little door on it and a little sign above it. But anyways.
That would actually have been funny. I like that.
Know. But I really don't want a mouse there.
And here's the other good news for this week. So we started the Patreon, and we're not going to always talk about it, but we got great response. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, my goodness.
In fact, the pledges allowed us to go out and buy a chainsaw, bought a little steel, and it's not huge, but it will take care of some of the trees. One thing we've really been noticing, and I think we just did this on a live video, not on an episode, but the more we've been here, the more we've started to understand that there are some amazing, beautiful, old, ancient trees planted by someone a long, long time ago. Yeah.
And what I love about it, which I hope we do some kind of little video or part of a video on, is kind of the secrets of the garden. Because I sort of feel like the longer we're here, the more your eyes can kind of sort through all the green, and you start looking and going, I see a different trunk back in there, and there's just been so many suckers and so many things have grown up and bushed everything out that you can hardly see anything. But every once in a while, we just started clearing out a little area over here, very tiny area. And then you start seeing this great vista that you can create, that you see these amazing trees with the big trunks, and then they have majesty to them again. And then it starts feeling like grounds and not a yard.
Yeah, right. The park.
The park.
The garden.
So I'm very excited about, I just see so many spots on the property where I'm like, I want this gone, I want this gone, I want this gone. And then all of a sudden you see everything in front of you and you see these spectacular trees that really are amazing. I'm looking at one right now, actually, an umbrella pine in front of us that's incredible. When we went to Rome a month ago with our students, there are several of these kind of umbrella pine there, and I think that may inspire at some point, who knows when, down the line. That would be fun to have that little area be sort of like a little Italian garden. I think that would be fun. Anyways, lots and lots of cool things to do with the garden.
Both of us are Saskatchewan kids. We came from a place called Saskatchewan in Canada, and now Leslie's place in the Moose Mountains did have a few trees, but by and large, huge parts of Saskatchewan, including where I was from, no trees, completely flat. And so, when we got here, we're just like, wow, this is like incredible. Like, we see all the trees. And so a good Saskatchewan person, doesn't cut a lot of trees down because you're kind of like,
look how long it takes to grow.
Every tree is precious. But what we're discovering as we've been here a year now is that with some of these big, beautiful trees, there are all kinds of suckers and all kinds of ivy and stuff that's grown, and a lot of them are getting choked, maybe choked to death. Yeah. And so it's really important that we get on that. We're really excited about we have some friends coming to help us work next week, and one of the jobs we're going to get at is knocking the ivy off all these trees and the chateau.
Some of the trees. Yes, and our terrace. So the terrace is made of stone and concrete, and the darn ivy. I used to love ivy. Again, in Saskatchewan, how long does ivy grow? Not very long. Here, it's just prolific, and it can get like not trunks, but like
seriously,
it gets really big, and its legs just grabs onto things. Yeah. And so it pushes the stones apart on the terrace, which is frightening. And heaven knows we don't want that happening. So we've got to get that out of there somehow.
Yeah.
And it just continues to come back. We pull it out, and hopefully we'll have some help to get more of it out again during the summer here, so it doesn't just keep getting stronger. It seems to get bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger.
So we're definitely in a war against ivy, and we're going to make some progress this month. But that chainsaw is going to help a lot, because there's a lot of spots where you look at it, and again, we didn't see it right off the bat, but now you look at it and you see these big glorious trees, but they're surrounded and choked, and they're in a small forest of suckers and weeds and thorn bushes, and so it's going to be really, really exciting to see these cleared out. Really, really quite excited about that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be the next couple of weeks. And that's what's been going on here in the Château. Thanks for coming along. It's been warm. Hopefully it's been pleasant where you're at.
At least it's not raining.
See you next week.
Here goes one. Not sad about it.